Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Let's Play S.T.A.L.K.E.R. Shadow of Chernobyl. It's a game that came out quite a long time ago. I think it must have been around 2007, some sort of time like that, I reckon, originally. It's a very, very good game. It's one of those ones that's been continuously sort of modded to absolute buggery ever since it came out. It's proved to be sort of a bit of a cult classic. Much like the book and the film that it was based off originally, actually. I'm going to be attempting a playthrough of this. And I'm going to be using this mod, which you can see here, which is called Aurora 2. For those of you S.T.A.L.K.E.R experts out there, I did come very close to choosing another overhaul mod called Oblivion Lost instead, but I decided against it in the end purely because it's a good mod, but it makes the game feel a little bit too crowded for me. And I wanted, for this playthrough at least, I wanted it to be a relatively vanilla-ish kind of an experience, which Aurora 2 kind of does, along with bumping up the difficulty and, adding some gorgeous graphics and that sort of thing. If I ever do a second playthrough of this, either on YouTube or more likely on Twitch or something as a live stream thing, I probably will end up using Oblivion Lost because it works very well as a kind of new game plus kind of experience, really, actually, to be fair. But for now, we're going to be using Aurora 2. It should be noted, right from the get-go here, I'm using version 2.04. And the reason that's important is because the later versions, 2.1 onwards, they added a bunch of new features which basically kind of broke the game and made it unstable with like save corruptions and things like that, and all just not good at all. Very not good. Luckily, I have an old install of 2.04 on my computer for ages, and that's what we're going to be using. You can also, if you just Google it, Aurora 2 2.04 or whatever, you will find a download link. I think there's one someone's put up on Reddit and other places as well. That's a version of it I recommend using because it is the most stable version. I like how the menu music is just basically completely cut out. That's interesting. Never mind. Anyway. So, without further ado, I'm going to get on with it. I'm not going to sit here and explain what the game is about and stuff like that. If you've never encountered S.T.A.L.K.E.R before, you'll get the idea as we go along, and I'll explain things when they become relevant. For the rest of you who probably are well aware of this game and have played it many times before, I will only make one request of you, and that is this. Try to keep the backseat gaming in the comments to a minimum. S.T.A.L.K.E.R is one of those games, a bit like Dark Souls, for example, that people love to just backseat drive on. They cannot help themselves. I've played this game plenty of times before. I never actually completed it. I never played it through to completion, but I did about 2/3 of it on my longest playthrough, and I mostly know what I'm doing, all right? So, obviously a few helpful hints and tips are welcome, as long as they're genuinely helpful. But yeah, just do try and keep it to a bit of a minimum, please, for the sake of my sanity. But anyway, asking the internet to do something like that will probably guarantee an opposite response. So never mind, whatever. So we're just going to start a new game. You're going to watch the intro cutscene, and then we'll get on with it. And I'll play the game and explain things as we go on. So here we go. Oh, and we're going to play on master difficulty. I may kick myself with this later, and if it gets really too difficult, I can change it in the options menu mid-playthrough, but I always wanted to have a bash at this on master difficulty, so that's what we're going to do. The difficulty in this game is actually kind of interesting, because the higher you set it, the more quickly enemies actually die, but also the more quickly you die. It's a really good difficulty system, in my opinion. I feel like that's the way it should be in lots of games, as opposed to what you might have expected if you turn it up to maximum difficulty, all the enemies become bullet sponges, and you die super quick. In S.T.A.L.K.E.R, they keep it fair. If you put it up to master difficulty, everybody, including you and the enemies, dies very quickly by being shot at. So that's what we're going to go with. We'll see how we get on. I normally stick to veteran, but we're going to give master a go for this run through. With Aurora 2, apparently it's going to make it even more difficult too. So, yeah, wish me luck. But anyway, here we go. Oh, yeah, loading screen. Enjoy this. It'll be over pretty quick, and then it'll be onto the cutscene. Hopefully, I've accidentally skipped it somehow. I don't think so though.
This one seems to be alive. What a lucky guy. At least death would have saved him from the dreams. Let's go and see what value Sidorovich will put on your head.
What have you got?
A body. It came from the death truck. It's got the mark.
Well, you know the drill. Leave him on
This is a live one.
Bullshit. You are lying.
Let the zone take me if I am.
Put it here. I think, for this one, I can give you.
And there we go. Now we wake up in this underground cellar, which is slightly different to the default game, where we immediately begin talking to the gentleman in that cutscene there called Sidorovich, the guy chowing down on that chicken leg there. In Aurora, they start you off in this little basement here instead. For whatever reason, I guess to offer a bit more player freedom, so you can kind of ignore that initial bit you get locked into with the tutorial information and just sort of do your own thing if you like. I just need to basically tab out and back into the game in order to fix the full screen window mode at my end. You can't see the difference on the video, but it's quite irritating at my end. It was sort of cut off at the bottom. But anyway, so yeah. There was a little bit of desync in that cutscene at my end, actually. Hopefully I can fix that in editing so you guys won't notice it. But yeah, there's a little bit of desync between the audio and the video, which was annoying. That does sometimes happen. Luckily, the cutscenes in this game are few and far between. Like, they're pretty extremely rare, to be honest. So it's not something we'll have to worry about. So anyway, we can pick up an energy drink and a piece of bread and walk outside. Put away those binoculars. And welcome to the zone. So the basic background of this game, the kind of what you might find on the back of the box if you were to buy it in a box, like it back in the day. Also, a med kit, some guns and ammo. Good stuff. You're going to want those, for sure. No one's going to mind if we take them either, by the looks of things. That's good. Basic gist is we are in the Ukraine. Or Ukraine. For some reason in English we call it the Ukraine sometimes. I don't really know why that is. It's just one of those things. We're in Ukraine, near Chernobyl, where obviously in real life, as you are probably well aware, there was a big nuclear accident in the 80s. It wasn't very nice. A lot of people got cancer and horrible things as a result of it, and it was a bit of a bloody disaster on the whole. But in the world of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, that did certainly happen, but then later on, scientists and the government and stuff sort of reclaimed the site and started, doing more work there. And then there was a second incident, which basically resulted in what you see in the game now. The zone, which is full of radiation and strange mutants and all of that sort of nasty, horrible stuff that we'll encounter. And in this zone, there are people called stalkers who've come from the outside world, and this is one of the things that sets this game apart, I think, from other post-apocalyptic games. In that the outside world, outside of the exclusion zone, is completely normal. Everything's fine. And yes, look for beds and mattresses. I get it. Thank you. Yes, it takes time to apply a first aid kit, etc., etc. Very good. In the outside world, everything's completely normal. It's just within the exclusion zone here in Ukraine where things have gotten a bit horrid. And people come in here to gather precious artifacts and things from these various sites within the zone and sell them in the outside world for rather a lot of money, and those people are called stalkers. We are one such stalker.
Got anything valuable?
And this is Sidrovich. He's a trader. He sits here in his bunker all day, every day, and buys things off us that we might find to give to him. Now, in the vanilla game, he gives us a little short tutorial speech here about why we're here and stuff like that, and we've basically just been dragged in here, and we're suffering from total amnesia. We have no idea who we are, or why we're here, or who this Strelok fellow is in our PDA that says we've got to kill him. So, cue Sidrovich, who's going to set us on the path to finding all of this stuff out.
The choice is yours. Either I brainwash you like I usually do with all the rookies, or I treat you like a real stalker and I give you a mission straight away.
Now, I would say treat me like a rookie, I don't remember shit, so he can give us the basic tutorial speech, but unfortunately in Aurora 2 it seems to be broken and it just sort of skips through and gets stuck. So I'm going to say just give me a mission and I'll explain all this myself.
Got a job for you, Marked One. I want you to find a stalker called Nimble. He was carrying some very important information. He disappeared somewhere near the bridge. Find him. Dead or alive, I don't care. I need the flash drive with the info. Visit Wolf from the local camp and ask him. He certainly knows where that guy can be.
Go on. That's all for now. Bring me the flash drive and we'll consider the fact that you've partially paid me for saving you. Okay, I'll try. Very good. There's a box here with nothing in it, which we could probably use for storing things if we wanted.
Good hunting, stalker.
We're going to hear him say that line a lot in this game. And we're back out in the world here. We're at a village here called Cordon. And I think it's sort of, yeah, it's starting to rain a little bit. Lovely. That's a lot of rain in this game. It's sort of called the Cordon Village. It's a tiny little ruined settlement here, which a bunch of the which is right near the entrance to the zone. There's a military checkpoint down the road that way, which leads out of the zone, which is guarded by a bunch of very angry Ukrainian soldiers. And this is kind of where all the rookies hang out, who don't really necessarily want to go any further into the zone, because that's where all the... on the one hand, that's where all the valuable stuff is, but on the other hand, that's also where all the nasty stuff is, in the form of mutants, monsters, but mostly bandits, actually, who want to kill you and nick all your stuff instead of going to the trouble of finding it themselves. So, all these guys just sort of hang around here drinking vodka and energy drinks and sitting around fires playing guitars and harmonicas and whatever it is these guys do. We can go talk to one of them if we like. Artyom Blater. Our boss here wanted to see you, but that doesn't make you a welcome guest. Keep moving. Can you tell me something interesting? Something new? To hell with your new, and there's so much old shit that you couldn't scoop it out with a ladle. The bandits went mad, the swine. We tread between the anomalies trying to get the artifacts, and they're the ones standing on stealing other people's goods. Asses. Just watch out and don't wander into the garbage. That's exactly their kind of place. See you. You know what? We can also trade with basically any NPC in the game. Like, if they've got money and stuff, we can buy it off them, or we can sell them our stuff. You don't have to go to a specific dedicated shopkeeper. There are a few, inverted commas, shopkeepers like Sidrovich over there in the game, who generally tend to have much better stuff and much more money, but you can barter with just about anybody you run across, which is kind of cool. So for now, we're going to talk to this gentleman over here called Wolf in a second about this thing with Nimble. Sidrovich wants us to go fetch a flash drive for, but for the moment at least. We're going to have a little poke around the village here, get our bearings and explore the place while I kind of continue to explain the way things work in here. We've got a flashlight here, as you can see, with a never-ending battery, which is just a jolly good thing too, because there's lots of dark, horrible places in this game. So this came out in 2007, I think, and in spite of the fact that it came out in 2007, it had some very impressive lighting effects back in the day. All this sort of dynamic shadowing you're seeing here with the flashlight, that was all in the original game, and it looked just as cool back then, if not even more impressive. This game always did have quite nice lighting effects, but this mod, Aurora 2, has done a huge job. It's got its own ENB kind of thing, if you're familiar with that from Fallout or Skyrim modding. It's got its own ENB and Sweet Effects thing installed that comes pre-packaged with it all when you install it, as well as all sorts of brand new textures and modeling and that sort of thing, which makes the game just look absolutely bloody beautiful in a totally desaturated, brown, horrible, post-apocalyptic kind of a way. We found a stash here. It's unfortunately empty. You find stashes like that all over the world in Stalker. I think I injured myself very, very slightly by jumping off there. Unfortunately, they don't always have stuff in because people haven't actually put stuff in them yet. Occasionally, when you find a dead person or something like that, or in dialogue with an NPC, you'll discover the locations of stashes where people have hid valuable objects. We'll find ourselves hiding our own valuable objects and stashes from time to time as well, because our carrying capacity in this game is very, very limited indeed. We can't carry a lot of things with us at any given time. At the moment, as you can see, we've got 3 Makarovs, which should probably sell even the 2 spares. We've got a couple of energy drinks, which are going to be useful for keeping our stamina up. A loaf of bread, which we can eat when we get hungry. We do need to sleep, and we do need to eat in this game in order to not suffer horrible consequences. We've got some ammunition, and we've got a medkit as well. If we pop down here, this is back where we were earlier. I think I grabbed everything from here, though. Yeah. Just a bowl of something there. Like it's just an empty bowl. And a few rolled up mattresses and things, and we can actually sleep in one of these beds if we like. In the vanilla game, you couldn't sleep, which was kind of annoying when it got to night time, where it gets very, very dark indeed, and it's very difficult to explore and actually do stuff and get things done during the night time. A lot of other mods added a sleeping bag you can activate in your inventory, but this one decided to make all the beds and bedrolls in the game ones you could actually sleep in. I believe that's the way it works in the later Stalker games. This is the first one they made. It had a bit of a troubled development cycle. There were a lot of features that were dropped when the game released originally, and some of the mods have managed to bring a lot of those features back. There are some features which I would have liked to have seen in this mod, but aren't in it, sadly, which we'll cover later, I think. Why can't I don't appear to be able to get my knife out. I think I have to talk to Wolf before I actually get a knife, which is going to be very useful because it will allow us to break into crates and things. So we might as well go have a chat with Wolf, I think. I can get out of here. There we go. Hello, Wolf. Hi, why are you here? Hi, I need to see Nimble. Would you know where I could find him? Nimble got a raw deal. His group was attacked by some bandits a little ways from here. All he could do was send me an SOS message. It looked like his pals went under. My guys told me these bastards are now at the old car park, the one across the road. You don't rescue your own people from prison? Not what I would call friendly, or is it that you're just too weak to do it? You will note that Marked One, the guy we're playing as, is not much of a people person. I'd bop you on, but what's the use? It's not that simple. I've got too few people, and even those I got are mostly rookies. I can't take that risk. If we lose this camp, things will get even worse for all the stalkers out there, and what about yourself? If you aren't too scared, I won't let my pride make me say no to a helping hand. So will you help me deal with these thugs? Think I could do it alone? Nah, you stand no chance on your own. My scouts are good soldiers, and right now they're right behind those freaks. Together you can make a run for it. What do you think? You got the guts? I'll try. Alright. You'll notice some of the...
You may attack if necessary. Over.
Alright, Wolf, send him in. As long as he stays out of the way. Out.
Alright. You'll notice in this game that the dialogue gets a little bit clunky in places because the game is made by a Ukrainian development team, and obviously it's been translated into English in the English sort of localized version, and mostly it's perfectly fine and understandable, and the spelling is all correct and everything like that. But sometimes the phraseology of the things NPCs say and that kind of thing is a bit weird. And anyway, yeah, now we've got a knife after having talked to Wolf, because he will have also given us an extra gun too. Yeah. Very good. Well, Wolf, if you don't mind, I'm going to take my sweet time getting over there, I'm afraid, mate, because I've got some things in this village I want to have a look at first. But, so the game's not really an RPG. You might be forgiven for thinking otherwise because of the dialogue system and that sort of thing, and the open world nature of it and that kind of thing. And it might remind you a bit of Fallout in many ways, but it's not really an RPG. It's effectively an open world first person shooter, but it feels a lot like an RPG, and I've often played it in the same way that it's an RPG. And one of the great things about this game, I think that most people are aware of, if they've even tangentially encountered Stalker, is that it's kind of renowned for having an incredibly... Oh, bandage is nice. An incredibly good atmosphere. It's one of those games that just sort of sucks you in, and you can spend hours in just walking around in empty fields near Chernobyl. Just kind of enjoying the ambience, although it's kind of a nasty, horrible ambience, but still. It's also quite a creepy game. It won't become apparent for quite a while until we get really into the meat of it, but it's actually quite a creepy, spooky game too. In a uniquely sort of Eastern European post-apocalyptic kind of a way. Filka Genghis. Our boss here wanted to see you, but that doesn't make you a welcome guest. Keep moving. Nothing. I don't know squat. Grab a bite to eat here and there, trying to make enough for my daily bread. It's too creepy going into the zone itself. To hell with it. And there's no work at home. My wife's on my case. I've got to live somehow. Here at the garbage, if you look around for a day, you can get some artifacts together, and it will do for your bread and butter. See you. If we look at our PDA, which is what this is, it will show us a map of the world, in addition to our quest objectives and other locations and things like that. That's Wolf Scouts. They're over there. We need to go meet up with them, and we're going to head over to this farm complex here and kill some bandits and hopefully rescue Nimble. I call it an open world. It's more of a kind of bunch of connected areas that you can freely move between. As you can see here, you've got all these different areas. The cordon here, which is where we are right now, that's the garbage, which you've heard a couple of NPCs refer to so far. Dark Valley, Agroprom, and it heads all the way up here until eventually you get to the Chernobyl nuclear power plant itself. There's actually more areas added in other mods if you choose to play them, like Oblivion Lost, like I said earlier, and there are other areas of the zone you explore in the other games, like Call of Pripyat and Clear Sky, as well. I've never played either of those, however. I only ever played this one. So here's our objectives at the moment. We also have the bigger map screen if we want to take a look at that, which will also display things like stashes and stuff that we've discovered. We haven't really discovered any so far. We don't have any information on them, but they will appear on the map as we get them. If we look at contacts, these are all people that we've spoken to or met at various junctures. As you can see, we've got Wolf there. Grisha, Sorcerer. Odd. Like, so I think a lot of the games are names even are a bit randomly generated. So that's just a funny coincidence. If you have a look at ranking, you've got all the people in the zone, all the other stalkers out there, ranked from 1 to whatever. We're number 583 on the list, apparently. Statistics, none. We haven't killed anything yet. And an encyclopedia, which will gradually, as we go through the game, for now it's just got tutorial info in it, but as we move through the game and encounter things, it will unlock bits of fluff info about various things in here, as well as our personal diary thing. Damn it, it's all haze now. I remember a car. They drove me somewhere for a long time. My whole body hurt. There was darkness. What happened before that? I've no idea. So confused. Now this fat guy calls me the Marked One, probably because of the strange tattoo on my arm. And then there's this weird mission to kill some guy called Strelok on my PDA. Is it even my PDA? Looking at Strelok's photo, I'm not even sure if I knew him or not. Damn it. It's like a bad dream you can't wake up from. What to do, where to go, and worst of all, who am I? Okay, calm down, control yourself. First thing I have to do is do some jobs for this Sidrovich. He claims to have saved my life after all. That shouldn't be too bad. I'll take a walk, calm myself down, and perhaps my head will be clearer. First impressions. Well, got some fresh air, saw the local wildlife. Interestingly, I seem to remember some of it already, but it's all in a haze. Had a chance to try the local amusement called Anomalies. Judging by the fact that I survived, I've probably come across them before. We haven't actually run into any anomalies yet, so he's lying. But we will. My brain stubbornly refuses to remember. Sidrovich is one clever bastard. He knows that he can use me almost for free, and that's exactly what he wants to do. Still, maybe he'll help me find this bloody Strelok fella. He's my only connection with my past. Okay, so there you go. That's all the stuff we care about for now. Go back to the task page, close the PDA. You will notice whenever we're in the PDA or in the inventory or anything like that, the game doesn't pause. So if we want to look up something in our journal thing, or we want to move some things around in our inventory, we have to make sure there's no one around trying to kill us when we do it. So, which I like, again, another nice feature. So let's head up this way. Even though the weather is genuinely horrible, but it kind of always is in the zone, unfortunately. The zone's a very weird and creepy place, and I could talk for probably quite a while about it, and all the places we can go and the things that we can see, but to be honest with you, this game is best played from a place of complete ignorance, where very little is explained directly to you in this game, and most of it you find out tangentially through randomly unlocked encyclopedia entries or things that are briefly mentioned in passing by NPCs in conversations and things, and stashes and things that you dig up, and that sort of thing. You just sort of learn more about it as you go along, without having it all explained to you in some big lore dump at the start. Oh, there you go. There's a Ukrainian army helicopter over there just prowling about the place. Remember what I was saying about how the outside world's basically completely fine? Well, there you go. That's the army just keeping an eye on everybody. Don't necessarily want to piss those guys off just yet. So most of this game basically involves wandering around horrible rusty ruins from the 1980s and looting things and just sort of exploring, really. So we're starting as we mean to go on. And there's obviously lots of combat. Lots and lots of combat, but also it's broken up a bit by the exploration elements and that sort of thing as well. It's quite nicely paced for an open world game, I have to admit. And over here, we heard somebody calling out. If we look very closely, we'll see...
Help me, brother. Take the med kit off the stiff. I can't reach it.
You alive? I'm okay. Bleeding all over though. Give me a med kit, will you? Here you are.
Thank you, Mark 1.
Could of course shot him in the head if we wanted to.
I'll be sure to tell
But I
everyone
chose
if
not
can,
to because
but
I'm a
you
nice
helped
guy.
me out.
And there's the med kit next to the dead body here, which he just mentioned. And every now and again, I seem to get these weird stuttery pauses in the game when I do stuff. I don't really know why that is. But anyway, we managed to get ourselves a PB9 silence pistol. Suppressed pistol, anyway. You can see it's got various stats. There is a definite sense of progression to the game. Obviously, it's not an RPG, so you don't have stats, you don't level up, that sort of thing. But there's a sense of progression to the game in the sense that you basically just, as you continue to go forward, you acquire much better weapons and equipment and that sort of thing, and your own actual physical skill at playing the game does improve, which overall lends to this general sense of progression that you do get from playing it. Thanks, friend. A little longer and I'd owe you one. What the hell happened? We were coming back from a scouting raid, came across some gangsters. One of our guys got killed right there. They grabbed Nimble because he made up a nice story about a cache full of artifacts. I played dead until we got interrupted by something, apparently. Sounds like there might be something around. Enemy or something nearby. But anyway, yeah, he was one of the guys with Nimble. I don't see anything. That will happen, like, your conversation will get interrupted if an enemy turns up, but looks pretty clear to me. I think he just had enough, he wants to go home. Whatever then. See you, dude. Alright, so moving on. Probably going to want our gun out at the moment. There's some mutants around here. Not very scary mutants, but they could definitely inconvenience us. Actually, all's quiet on the Western Front for now. You might have heard a dog barking back there, and there definitely are some wild dogs out there. But haven't shown themselves yet. Alright, fine. One of the reasons, for those of you who have played the game before, one of the reasons I chose not to go with this mod as opposed to Oblivion Lost is because, as I briefly mentioned earlier, Oblivion Lost kind of makes the game a little bit crowded. By now we probably would have wandered into 3 separate gunfights if I was playing Oblivion Lost, but at the moment, because this is Autumn Aurora instead, we're just kind of wandering on through this rainstorm, looking at all the surroundings and just getting our bearings, and haven't been yet completely overwhelmed. I don't know if those stutters are going to show up on the recording or not. I hope they potentially don't, but they are a little bit annoying. There's nothing I can do about them, unfortunately. I think it's because of the hard drive I've got this game installed on, actually, if anything.
Pipe down, man. Let me fill you in.
Sorry. Hello, Wolf has already sent word of you. You got any questions? Yes. How many bandits in the camp? 7 or 8 people. 2 by the gate, 2 more in the building to the right near the fire, and another 2 in the one to the left. That's where they're keeping nimble. Someone usually hangs around the yard as well. That's about it. Should we say a prayer and go? Alright.
Men, Wolf here sent us some support along with the order to attack. Time to move on and be heroes.
Alright. Let's do it. And I'm going to quick save. You'll be quick saving a lot if you play S.T.A.L.K.E.R. You practically want to, you know, it wouldn't be much of an exaggeration to say you probably want to assign quick save to your right mouse button. It will become that essential to us. Alright, we're going to want to sprint forward here and... There we go. Get down here. So we're on master difficulty, which means that we will die very quickly and so will the bad guys. And you are just pushing me out of cover, you bastard. Oh, as you can see. We can lean around corners. Oh dear, that's 2 of our guys down. This is not going well. I don't think he's dead. I think he just got away. Come on. Poke your head around. You know you want to. I think we got him. Yeah, he's dead. More of them around, though. Someone over here, I heard him. Yep, hello. Hello, friend. You will note that this pistol is shite, by the way. Even on master difficulty, it's pretty rubbish. Pistols are pretty crap in this game. We want to get our hands on an automatic weapon as soon as possible. Alright, he's definitely dead. Good. Whoa, 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 hello. Okay. And we're now bleeding, which means we need to apply a bandage in order to stop losing more health. Ah, and there you go. First of many deaths to come, I'm afraid. Welcome to S.T.A.L.K.E.R, where you die a lot. We'll give it another go. Let's see if we can try and do this a bit better this time. You guys gonna speed up a bit? Why is your gun so wonky in your hand?
Don't fall behind.
Alright. Alright, I'm just gonna go ahead and sprint over here. You know, it's our blue stamina bar at the bottom, right? It gets drained the longer we sprint, and the more equipment we're carrying, the less we can actually do it. Right, I'm just going to get straight over here. I think I got one. I'm not sure, though. Could do with a grenade, really? Come on, dickbag. Poke your head around the corner. There you are. Gotcha. Alright, I'm bleeding though, so I need to do something about that. And you'll notice I can't get my weapon out or anything while he's applying the bandage, so... You're one of our friends. Very careful here. Gotcha. There is a bit of stealth in this game. I can't remember if it's any good, though. I mean, the vanilla game, it was mostly broken, but I can't remember whether or not Aurora kind of fixed that a bit. So it does help to sneak around a bit and perhaps not wander around with our flashlight on all the time, for example. I think that might have been all of them. And now we loot. That's what you do a lot of in Stalker. You explore, you kill things, and you loot. Not necessarily in that order, but mostly in that order. And it doesn't care if they're a friend or foe, you loot them anyway.
Wolf, factory cleared. Returning to starting positions. Out.
Alright, we're going to bugger off out of here. Nimble's around here somewhere in one of these buildings. More interested in grabbing stuff now, though, for now. Can't remember whether or not I dropped a guy over here. No, there's some shooting coming in this direction, but I just kind of blindly fired off that way, and it looks like someone else got this guy. Alright. They're not all guaranteed to be dead, by the way, just because this mission here is completed. Might be one or two still lurking around. The environment is a bit dynamic. It's more dynamic if you go with a mod like Oblivion Lost. Weapon repair kit, that's useful. Some cigarettes. Those will be useful in case we encounter anything that does psychic damage to us, believe it or not. Yeah, the world is kind of a bit dynamic, though. Bandits will move in and attack, and other people will take over, and mutants will roll in and stuff like that. Hello. It's a Sega 12S. That is a pretty nice semi-automatic shotgun. I think I will, in fact, equip it. If we can. There we go. Looks like an AK-47, but believe me, it's actually a shotgun. It's a nice find this early in the game, to be fair. We'll basically grab as much stuff as we can carry and sell it all to Sidrovich. The more rubles we acquire, the easier this is all going to be for us, so... Probably shouldn't have backed into the building looking any other way. That was pretty stupid, to be fair, but I'm 90% sure everybody's dead. Except for Nimble! That is. How you doing, Nimble?
I owe you, brother. I could never thank you enough.
Thanks, brother. You did us a great service. I don't even know how to thank you. Listen, I need that flash drive you were taking to the trader. Do you have it? Yeah, I got it. Those morons can't even do a proper search. Well, what the heck, take it. After all, you saved my life. It was well hidden, but these thugs can't frisk for shit. Thanks. Where did you keep it anyway? Who knows? Might come in handy. I didn't keep it down there, so don't worry. I've worked for Trader for a long time, so I can store information safely. By the way, I told the thugs a nice little story about a cache full of artifacts, and they ordered one guy to go there. The cache exists, but it's only got one artifact. I can give you its coordinates if you want. Sure, thanks. And don't forget, there's lots of wild animals there. Besides, the gangster they sent is armed with more than a scoop and a shovel, so be careful. Thanks, man. Thanks to you too. Sure, no problem. Good luck. I need a job. Do you have something for me? Can you tell me something interesting? Nothing. I don't know squat. Blah blah blah. There is something. Find the perfected suit. Well, while I was in captivity, I heard the bandits talking about their secret stash where they keep the habar. I don't know. Heard that they hid a cool coat there, and the next day some monster got his eye on the stash, and he became so interested in it that they're now afraid to go there. Do me a favor, bring me the suit, and I'll pay you well. Alright? Alright. You trade anything with us, Nimble? He's only got 40 rubles, so no is the answer. To be fair, he's been held prisoner by a bunch of bandits, so I don't know why I expected him to have anything with him. Stands to reason and all that. Let's see, that's an empty can of energy drink. There's some empty vodka bottles. It's an attic of... I'll go check that out in a second. We've got a box containing a med kit, good. Buckshot rounds, also good. And some Cossacks vodka. Now, vodka will make you drunk, both in the real world and in Stalker. But beyond that, it will also cure radiation a little bit. I'm pretty sure it doesn't do that in the real world, by the way. Don't try it at home or anything, but in Stalker, vodka does cure radiation ever so slightly, and we're going to be okay for that for now, honestly, because... Can we sleep in this bed? Oh, we can, nice. We're good for that for now, because we're not going to run into any radioactive areas just yet, really. There's one or two in this cordon area that I can think of, but we're not going to encounter any serious radiation. So vodka's a bit of an emergency tool for getting rid of radiation, but generally speaking, I'm probably going to sell most of it. The stash is empty. Oh, well, never mind. Someone might come along and put something in that later. We'll have to come back and find out if we get some information about it. Speaking of stashes, though, we've got a couple here. Here's this one. This is the one that Nimble was talking about, just up the road there. We'll go check that out. And there's another one over here, over in this field. A backpack near the village. One of the stalkers choked by the newbies' camp. Check out his goods. Okay, so we've got two artifacty kind of, not artifacts, but stashes we can go check out, which is what I think I will do, actually. And then we'll head back to the village and give Sidrovich the flash drive and sell him a bunch of bottles of vodka and guns. And so on and so forth. No, I think we'll talk to Wolf again, because I think he might have some more jobs for us to do. Ugh, I really do hate that stutter. I know I keep banging on about it, but it makes me... It feels like the game's just crashed every time it does it, because the sound cuts out and everything. But it's just this crap hard drive that I've got this installed on. I probably could move it to another hard drive and it wouldn't really have any issues. It's a GOG.com install of the game, which means it doesn't really have any registry problems. I could probably literally just move the entire thing to a different hard drive and it would run just fine. I may just do that, I don't know. But yeah, it's kind of annoying. I've had this hard drive for ages. It's a partitioned one. One part of it is an SSD, and one part of it is a regular hard drive. And the regular hard drive portion of it has some wonky firmware that always causes stutters in games when it wants to play certain sound files in games for some reason. So that's what's happening. Every time it stutters like that, it's because the game's trying to play a sound that it doesn't like. I did see some sort of dog-like creature wandering along that ridgeline up there. And we got some more. Some doggos, yep. And right on there on our left is an anomaly, indicated by the fact that our anomaly detector is bleeping on our belt there, and there's a bit of... You can sort of hear it humming away, and there's a bit of wonky-looking, ripply kind of heat haze in the air over there. If I chuck one of these bolts in it, you'll notice it goes kablam. And yeah, the bolt sort of dissolves into thin air, which means that we don't want to go walking into that by accident. We do not want to go walking into that, so that's why we have this infinite supply of bolts. We chuck them at the ground in front of us to make sure that the ground in front of us is actually safe to walk on. You get lots of anomalies like that in the game. That's the most basic one. I forget what it's called exactly, but... And... we got some dogs coming at us. Ooh, shit, hello. You're pretty frisky, you aren't you? Yeah, get out of here. Crikey. They're called blind dogs because they're actually blind. They're mutants. They're mutant dogs that have grown up in the zone and they're all blind. They hunt through sound and smell and they look icky. And they attack you if there's large numbers of them. To be honest with you, I'm a little surprised. They're not usually that aggressive, but they really came at me there. Now, the wildlife in the game is kind of interesting because they actually act like wildlife. Unlike your sort of standard random lone wolves sitting around the wilderness in Elder Scrolls that just attack you on sight, the wild dogs and things like that in Stalker, they just sort of wander around the map in packs, and if there's enough of them, they might pluck up enough courage to attack you, but if you find a lone one, you'll probably just run off in the opposite direction, making whimpering noises. And they'll just generally charge about the place. You can scare them off with a bit of gunfire, usually. Although those guys were pretty aggressive, like I said, but usually you can just scare them off with a bit of gunfire, and there's another anomaly there. They're essentially just points in space where for unexplained reasons, the space in them doesn't really obey the traditional laws of physics. It's a bit weird. You want to stay away from them, generally speaking. But from these anomalies is where artifacts come from, which are strange little sort of stony objects you find about the place that give you almost magical properties, really. They make you more resistant to bullets or more resistant to radiation and things like that. Some of them have negative effects too. There's an old tunnel entrance here. I notice this gun seems to have a lot of sway on it. Could that be because it's damaged? That's a little bit damaged, but not too much. Also doesn't have a lot of accuracy on it either, as you can see the crosshairs all over the place. So yeah. There's some sort of creature around here who's decided to guard this particular stash, which is why the bandits didn't come and get it, according to Nimble, so keeping an eye out. Something that's probably going to come charging out of this tunnel. Hello. Oh, multiple somethings. Okay, good. Always nice. I think they're all dead. We have a nasty-looking Wolverine dog creature. A boar with a hoof that we can take. Boar's hooves can be used to produce a number of drugs, including an anti-radiation serum. Well, I never. Sidrovich will probably be interested in that then. And this one doesn't have anything. They rarely do have stuff on them, these wild animals, but occasionally you get lucky. And you'll get a little bit of blurb text about it, like dog tails, for example, where you can sometimes get your hands on, and they have... Basically, you take them for the fur, which apparently is very valuable in the outside world for some reason. Let's see then. So, where's this stash at? Aha! Here we go. Ah. It's a mail jacket, which gives us a whole bunch of stat bonuses. Common weak bandit body armor with mail plates sewn into its backing. Almost everyone is capable of creating this suit, but virtually no one has enough patience to do so. We could actually wear that. We could just slap it on and, you know, take it for ourselves, or we could actually bring it to Nimble. We'll find plenty of other sort of armored jackets and suits and things like that, though. I think I might just give it to Nimble and get the money. I don't know. 3,000 rubles it's worth. He might just tell us to keep it, to be fair. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while. And it's still raining. Like I said, there's a lot of rain in this game. Get used to it. Deary me. Well, anyway. Apparently we're a little bit hungry, too. Let's eat a loaf of bread. Which, again, takes a little bit of time to do. As evidenced by the fact that our gun was away. There we go. So don't just go try and just quaff pieces of bread in the middle of combat. That's a bad idea. But anyway, yeah. So we've had a spot of lunch on our way back down here, and... Okay, there it is. I was like, well, I'm about to run into something here. I don't see it. I just hear the bleeping. I believe... We don't have one yet, but we can get our hands on an artifact detector. I think if there's a certain area, if I go to it, we'll magically just sort of get handed one. And that will allow us to detect artifacts, which are, I think, in this game with this mod, they're typically invisible. You don't see them until you use the artifact detector to uncover them. I wonder... I feel like there was a button to pick up corpses and move them, but maybe that only applies to human corpses. Or I kind of wanted to move the dog corpse into the anomaly so you could see what would happen, but yeah, some of them are kind of gruesome. Alright, let's head back down here. Take cover from one of these buildings from the rain. I think I'll call it a day, and let's not charge in blindly either. We haven't been we've only been a couple of minutes out of here, but sometimes you never know what might have moved in. I can hear dogs barking somewhere, so... Do we remember to loot all of you? Oh, I didn't pick up your gun. Yeah, see, I can drag human corpses, but not animals, apparently. That's another thing you'll see the animals do, actually. They will kill other animals, and then they will drag their corpses away into the bushes, and they'll start eating them. You know, as animals tend to do. And here's the one guy who survived. How you doing, dude? Gosh, a ferret. Hey! Can you tell me something interesting? Well, I'm not really up to date with the latest news. Okay, so can you trade? No, he doesn't really have anything on him. Okay. Where the hell did you... Where'd you go? Oh, is there something around here that needs to die? There's nothing there, dude. You feeling okay? Yeah, okay. I guess he's just a little paranoid. Can't blame him that much. Anyway, folks, that's it from me for this episode, and apologies for the beeping there. That's my stupid game companion software beeping at me whenever I press the shift key. Yeah, that's it from me, folks. I'm just going to warm by this fire here and stay out of the rain, although there's a big hole in the roof where it's all coming in there, but hey. And I will catch up with you guys next time, where we will head back to the Cordon Village, give Sidrovich the flash drive, and see what else we can get up to. That's it for now. Hope you've enjoyed this first episode of S.T.A.L.K.E.R, Shadow of Chernobyl. One of many, hopefully more to come. It's going to be a bit of a slog getting through this early part of the game, which I have played literally probably dozens of times before. But it's a wonderful game. It's one of my favorites ever, pretty much. And I'm hoping by sharing it with you guys, some of you will be introduced to the awesomeness that is S.T.A.L.K.E.R. The slightly grim, depressing awesomeness that is S.T.A.L.K.E.R, but awesomeness nevertheless. Anyway, folks, I will catch you next time. That's it from me, and that's it from Ferret as well, apparently. Toodaloo.